Professional chess master, Coach Bill, analyzing game from the team match between my video lessons club and the at chess.com and the club chess.com in Espanol. So we have the correspondence match going on between the two clubs, and I promised my members if they won both games and would remind me, because I can't look through 207 boards and catch them all, I would make a video of their wins. And as karelkamelensprong points out, this game was not much of a game, but we'll try to make an interesting video out of it. They played book moves for several moves, and then White blundered. We'll get down to that. Okay, so here we're following mainline theory. And again, the thing about correspondence chess is you can use books, you can use databases. Okay, you just can't use an engine to help you select your moves. That you'll get, it will be detected by chess.com, and you will be banned. And why would you want to do that? To brag how much better your computer is than your opponent? Well, we know that already. They're better than all of us, okay? All right, so Ruy Lopez main line. And here black has a choice between knight takes e4 the open, or just play bishop e7. And rook e1 is the main line. b5 and bishop b3. And here black castles and sets the stage for playing what we call the martial attack. There's been some conflicting stories on this, but about 100 years ago, Frank Marshall, who was U.S. champion, had discovered this. I think they found evidence of earlier games, and he's going to sacrifice a pawn and for an attack, and he could have beaten anybody with it in his time, or in his era. So he saved it for the one guy that actually owned him in play. That was Jose Raul Capablanca, who was the best player in the world at the time, soon to become world champion, and he saved it for him. And when Kappa ran into it, he wrote, I knew when I accepted the pawn that I would be subjected to a ferocious attack, but my intuition, my instinct said I would be okay. And here it comes. Okay, so for those that are interested, there is a line, the anti-martial A4. This threatens to win a pawn because this pawn is defensively pinned. I've seen people that a couple moves later still get the martial in. Very interesting chess. Okay. So here black's going to sacrifice a pawn. We could play d6 and transpose into the main line, but d5 says, I'm going to give up a pawn and I want to attack you. Okay, so now the e5 pawn is exposed. White takes it. And in the original martial game with versus Capablanca, he brought the knight back to f6. And what's going to happen is then, okay, I'll just show you just one of the main lines. Knight f6 to d4, bishop d6, rook back to e1 where it's safe. And now black has some attacking chances. Okay, we're hitting this. Queen h4 is coming. And this was the position that from this opening that Capablanca refuted the martial attack. But modern theory has said, let's go ahead and play c6 and keep this knight on this square, and because it was under attack. But the attack is still coming. We're still playing bishop d6, but now we're able to bring the queen out directly. And this is all theory, and there's plenty of stuff on it. There've been plenty of moves tried, and the purpose of this is not to analyze this martial to death, but what black is trying to do here is utilize his development. Look at white's queen side. Okay, those pieces are still in bed. They're not doing anything. Meanwhile, if white or black could have his way, he would attack the queen and drop this bishop here and deliver a checkmate right there. So one variation is white's going to play queen f3. Let's take a look at that briefly. And then black declines the queen trade, and for the price of a pawn, black is looking pretty good here. He's ready to swing this rook over and pressure white on the back rank. So, theory says this is about even. But white decides to play rook e4. That's another line. It does stop bishop g4. So, but it also maybe makes this rook a little vulnerable. He's always also trying to chase the queen out. So black plays a tricky move here. And, what's the idea of g5? Well, keep the rook out of h4. That's what the idea is. So obviously white did not take his time here, which is one of the, in my opinion, the number one reason why people lose games is they didn't stop and think, take time to think. Correspondence says most of these games you play, you have a 3-day time limit. And if you only play a few games, you can have a few hours to analyze the position, get it right. The old days when I played by postcard, turnaround time for a domestic U.S. player, if he was close, you're lucky to get a 5-day turnaround, but 7 to 12 days was quite common, and you had plenty of time to look at the position. People say, how could you play that slow? Well, that's how we did it. Okay, as I pointed out in other videos, 175 years ago, when they had the gold rush in California, you had to take several months to cross the continent by covered wagon. The railroad hadn't been built yet. You take a clipper ship from Boston down to tip of South America and back up to San Francisco, or you could take a clipper ship down to the Isthmus of Panama. The canal hadn't been built yet, and cross about 30 miles of jungle and take another ship. That's all you got there. That's how we did things. Okay? So, white just looks and says, free pawn. He's not thinking. And, the problem is, if we look at this position, what's not defended in white's position? Well, this bishop and this rook. Okay, so we have a fork. Queen f5 and white resigns. So, white could have probably played another 10 moves of opening theory if he bothered to look it up. And still would have had a playable position. Instead, he just throws the game away for nothing. So, I maintain that correspondence chess will help you learn openings. You'll help you gain rating points because people, and when you gain rating points, you get to play stronger players. Okay, these players, white's like 2100, blacks around. Let's start with karelkamelensprong is around 2100. Fresines is around 2000. So 2,000 players should do better, but you can't do better by throwing away games like this, okay? All right, well, thanks for watching. Appreciate it.